All right, everybody, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready to dive in. What are we looking at today?
Well, today we're looking at shamanism.
Okay, getting mystical.
Yeah. We came across this YouTube video by Shaman Jon Rasmussen, and it's all about this idea of retaining personal power in challenging situations. How to not give your power away, even when things are tough.
Interesting. So we've got the transcript of that,
We
right?
do, yep. And we've got some background info on the video itself from YouTube, so I think there's a lot to unpack here. Ready to jump in.
Absolutely.
So shamanism. It's a fascinating world, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's got this, I don't know, this kind of mystique around it.
Yeah, and Rasmussen, in this video, really emphasizes the importance of not falling into this victim mentality.
Right. That makes sense. Taking ownership of your experience.
Exactly, and he actually gives 3 really specific tips for how to do that. His first tip is about controlling your narrative. He says, and I quote, "You decide what the story is because your story becomes your reality."
Wow, that's powerful.
It is, right.
So how do you interpret that?
Well, to me, it sounds a lot like what you would call in therapy like a cognitive reframing. If you hit a roadblock, you can choose to see it as a failure, or you can choose to see it as an opportunity.
Right. It's about choosing a perspective that empowers you.
Exactly. But how does that fit into this, shamanic perspective?
Well, it really aligns with the whole idea of personal responsibility, which is a big thing in shamanism. It's recognizing that you have a role to play in how you experience the world.
So not just letting life happen to you.
Right. It's more like you're co-creating your reality. At least that's how I understand it.
Okay, I like that. Now, Rasmussen's second tip is super interesting. It's about recognizing the inherent equality of all individuals.
Okay, that's a big one. How does he approach that?
Well, he uses this analogy of a theater. He says we're all actors just playing different roles.
That's really cool. So, like, the villain in the play is just as important as the hero, right?
Exactly. It's all part of the same story. And it makes you think, we judge people based on their role in our lives.
All the time, yeah. We label people, we put them in boxes.
Right. But maybe we need to look beyond those roles and see that ultimately we're all connected.
See the shared humanity, definitely.
All right. So on to his third tip, he talks about the impermanence of roles and identities.
Oh, interesting. So, like, not getting too attached to labels?
Yeah. And he even uses this really evocative language talking about being fluid and invisible.
Invisible. What does he mean by that?
He's saying if you're not too rigid, if you can flow and adapt, you're less likely to be a target for, like, other people's projections.
Oh, I see. You don't give them anything to latch onto.
That's it. So essentially, it's about cultivating adaptability and resilience.
Makes sense. It's kind of like in nature. Think about how a tree bends in the wind. It doesn't just, like, snap.
Right. There's strength in that flexibility.
Absolutely.
So to recap Rasmussen's 3 tips, shape your narrative, recognize inherent equality, and embrace fluidity.
3 powerful principles, really.
Absolutely. And, going back to that theater analogy,
Yeah.
it makes me wonder, what role am I playing today? And how could I, maybe shift that role just a little bit to create a different experience?
That's a great question. What about you? What role are you playing today?
I'll have to think about that one. Maybe we could all think about that. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See ya.